fun in this tonight. I'm going to open up with a little piece called Have You Met Miss Jones to illustrate what basically tonight's material is all about, and that is 9 essential chord forms. Realistically, all the chords that you heard and hopefully saw me play are a derivation, an extension, or an alteration of your course materials that you should have downloaded by now. It comes with the video. 9 forms. You know, people have asked me many times, how many chords are there? You know, and you've all seen those books about this thick that have 500,000 guitar chords in them, and I don't know. It just seems like too much information. They mean well, but practically, what are you going to do? You're going to go through all of them, find 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 that you like, and then again, they're going to be disjointed. So I entitled to tonight's class on the 9 essential chord forms and how to use them. Well, essentially, there's only 60 chords. We probably covered this before, because there's 5 chord species or chord functions. There's a major function, a minor function, a dominant function, which is probably the most important, and then there's a diminished function, kinda, and kinda an augmented function. So those 5 species of chords times 12 tones give us 60 chords. Now, what I've done was basically reduce those 5 functions into 3 functions. Yes, of course, there's a major function, there is a minor function, and there is a dominant function. But the dominant function can also be a diminished function or an augmented, because both of those chords are derived from a dominant chord. In other words, this is a G7. Okay, now watch my fingerings. This is the if you look on your sheet, this would be the first family of chords, the first row of chords, the dominant type. Here, a G, first finger at the 3rd fret, last string, an F on the 4th string, 3rd fret, D, 3rd fret, 2nd string with the 3rd finger, and the 4th finger is on the B, 3rd string, 4th fret. Now, if I take any one of these notes, if I take this note and do this, it becomes A flat diminished. But is it really? You know, it's actually G7 flat 9. If I took this note, okay, did something with that, made this F a G flat, and added the G here, again, we're going to hear that diminished function. Essentially, it's F7, the flatted 9th, the G flat. So, if I did this, make the D and the B sharp, that becomes an augmented chord. See? So that's why I reduced those 2 other species to a diminished species. So it's really just 3. 3 functions of chords. Practically, how do we use this? Well, let's put it to some uses. Let's take a couple of tunes. Let's say we're dealing with, I don't know, let's say All of Me. Okay, it's a song pretty much everyone knows. And if we're doing something like that, we know that that particular song starts with a tonic, secondary dominant on 3, secondary dominant on 6, 2, secondary dominant on 3, 6, secondary dominant on 2, 5, tonic, secondary dominant on 3, E7, A7, secondary dominant on 6, 2, 4 chord, 4 minor, secondary dominant on 6, secondary dominant on 2, and 5, 1. Now, if we just play those straight chords, utilizing any one of those 9 chords you have in front of you, and not alter anything, it's going to sound just like this. I'm going to alter some of the chords.
This is all very simple.